that will participate in Friday prayers. These were part of resolutions reached at a meeting of religious leaders in the state with Governor Wike at Government House, Port Harcourt. Governor Wike stated that his administration does not want to take decisions on a review of existing restrictions on the modes of religious gatherings without their advice. He enjoined the religious leaders to use their positions to enlighten their members to know that the pandemic, which has been claiming lives, is real.
What would help us to see that we can open the churches and the mosques? In fact, one of the mosques is the most dangerous because when we met last time, one of the leaders said, look, ordinarily, in ordinary days of prayer, they have no problem. But the problem is the one on the Friday, which you cannot stop anybody. But on other days, anybody can go and pray whenever he or she wants to go and
On the executive order of River State Islamic Affairs, Mutala Bamidele reaffirmed the determination of Muslims in the state to continue to cooperate with the state government to stem the spread of coronavirus in the state. On his part, Soibi Dagogo Jack, who spoke on behalf of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, noted that River State is the only state where the governor has continued to seek the input of religious leaders. Meanwhile, the River State government is considering a possible total lockdown of Bonny Island. This may not be unconnected to reports of the spread of coronavirus in Bonny. Governor Nyesom Wike, while speaking at a meeting with heads of multinational companies including NLNG, Shell and ExxonMobil, said government might consider a possible lockdown of Bonny after due consultation with the Amayanabo of Bonny. River State Governor Nyesom Wike, who expressed delight over the decision by three multinational oil companies to collaborate in establishing a COVID-19 treatment center in Bonny, local government area of the state of the pandemic.
I had a meeting with Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas, LNG, and Shell and ExxonMobil yesterday on how they are going to tackle the problems that were envisaging in Bonny. We sent out about 60 samples. As at yesterday, out of the 60, 30 are positive. And then you can imagine people leaving Bonny coming to Port Harcourt. And people.
The Rivers State House of Assembly has received the reviewed and revised medium-term expenditure framework of the state government 2020 to 2022. A majority leader of the House, Martina Mewule, who presented the EMTF, said the decision to review the expenditure framework because of the current reality caused by the COVID-19 pandemic that has affected the economy of the state and the world at large. He said poor revenue generation and possible drop in federal allocation has forced the River State government to review its 2020 budget downward to 300 billion naira from an initial 530 billion naira.
A dollar price of $55 per barrel of crude oil with a production capacity of over 2 million barrels per day and an exchange rate of 305 naira to $1. An expected uprise in the economy arising from massive inflow of infrastructural programs and projects across the states and high investment in human capacity development made the outlook set out in the MTF clearly within reach. However, if it came with the arrival of COVID-19, which later became a world pandemic, it has created major fallouts and distortions not only to the state economy but the world at large.
Our correspondent Victor Ezema reports that the members are expected to debate on the revised medium-term expenditure framework on the next sitting date, which is this Thursday. The leadership of the demolished livestock market at the boundary between Auda East and Emua local government areas of the River State and some business owners have alleged that over 100 of their livestock and millions of naira got missing on the day of the demolition of the market. Coordinator of the group, who spoke to newsmen on the development, accused the chairman of Auda East Local Council, Ben Ake, of inciting the state government against the Elele Alimini people that led to the demolition of the market. Alezi dismissed reports that no government agency was aware of the establishment of the market, saying that he led the team that sought the attention of the Auda East Local Government Council and Special Assistant to Governor on road decongestion.
Okay, on that note, I moved into the two families that own the place. I liaised with them. They accepted and donated that land without no cost, no problem anywhere. They have been looking for one means or the other to destroy that market. While during the COVID-19 era, we observed all the protocols, and the days they say lockdown will shut the market, the entire market down. 2 days later, then that was on the 9th of May, Ben came with thugs, leading the thugs down to the market, destroying the market. Started away with money belonging to these Hausa men doing business in the area. The POS machine were all smashed. Destroyed the cage. Goats numbering about 110. As I speak to you, is still missing.
Reacting to the allegations, Chairman of Outer East Local Government Council Ben AK denied inciting the government against anyone, insisting that the market was opened without the consent of the government officials. The Rivers State government, through a statement by the Commissioner of Information and Communication, Paulinus Nsirim, had warned against the existence of the go-to market between Elele Alimini and Outer East, which he said was illegal. A state high court in Port Harcourt has declared Igor Aguma as the chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State. The court also declared the Isaac Ogbogbulam-led 5-man caretaker committee constituted by the National Working Committee of APC as illegal. The court, presided over by Justice George Omereji, held that the caretaker committee was only constituted to conduct congresses on September 2019 and did not review their appointment after the said date. Omereji also ruled that the National Working Committee of APC constituted the caretaker committee without liaising with the statutory members who he said were empowered by the party constitution as state executive committee members. Speaking to newsmen, Aguma's lawyer, Echezona Etiaba, a senior advocate of Nigeria, welcomed the judgment, which he said is the true position
of the party. The courts, when invited, will come in and strengthen it to make sure that our democracy is fortified. The judgment today is simple, that the caretaker committee of the party set up last year is null and void or traverses of the constitution, and that the claimant, Honorable Igor Aguma, is the chairman of the caretaker committee of the party from today.
On his part, Emenike Ebete, who is one of the counsels to APC and is national chairman, Adam Soshomole, said they will appeal the judgment.
Has just been decided today. The first was Dele Moses against the All Progressives Congress. That one was resolved against us. Court granted all their reliefs. Court held that all those who bought forms and who paid for funds in before May 2018 are the only ones that will conduct the election. No new persons will come into the matter. We're going to test that decision at the appellate court. The second matter was that of Honorable Igor Aguma against the All Progressives Congress. The court has granted all his reliefs. In fact, the court in effect has said that Igor Aguma should be chairman of the party. The statutory committees who are over 50. We have senators, we have House of Rep members, so governors, ministers serving. So what qualifies him to be the chairman? That is one issue that we have to test.
Meanwhile, the newly declared chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Igor Aguma, said it is dangerous for the fate of the APC to be decided by one man. Aguma said this while speaking with newsmen after the court judgment declaring him chairman of the APC. He said the judgment offers the party in the state the chance to show that the APC respects the rule of law and to build on constitutional democracy, adding that all stakeholders should be involved in what happens in the APC.
Today's judgment offers an opportunity to our great party, the All Progressives Congress, to genuinely imbibe democratic tenets and values in keeping with the constitution of the party. It also offers the APC in Rivers State the chance to show that our party respects the rule of law, is law-abiding, and has no choice than to build on constitutional democracy. Furthermore, we as a party now have the opportunity for genuine reconciliation and peace, driven not by the principal actors in our long-drawn crisis, but by the statutory members of the state, to be such that it does not and must not place the survivor bigger than any one man or woman. And as long as you're a member of this party, you are a stakeholder.
The two-term member of the House of Representatives, Igor Aguma, who used to be an ally of the Minister for Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, in the suit, sued the chairman of the caretaker committee of APC in Rivers State, Isaac Ogugbulam, the APC, and his national chairman, Adam Soshomole. Similarly, the State High Court has ruled that all members of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State who purchased nomination forms for the 2018 ward, local government and state congresses, including Dele Moses and 9 others, be allowed to participate in the forthcoming congresses without paying any fresh fee. Justice George Emirate Court held that he does not have the jurisdiction to enforce the judgment of the three levels of the court as sought by the claimants. Correspondent Uchendu Ejawari reports that on the issue of local standing, the court ruled that the claimants have the local standing to seek for the reliefs since it has proven that they are fully registered members of APC. Justice Omiriji on the issue of whether the claimants should participate in the party congresses without paying fresh fee based this judgment on the decision of the Supreme Court on the case of Ibrahim Umar and 22 others, which directs the claimants should not be disqualified.
95.1 FM.
Financial autonomy to state assemblies and judiciary. Governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, who is also the chairman of the Nigeria Governors, with the chief of staff to the president and some ministers, Fayemi said the president suspended the implementation of the order over the governor's consent. The governors had expressed reservations over the order which President Buhari had signed to make the state legislature and judiciary more independent by ensuring their finances get directly to them. Fayemi said after listening to their concerns about the constitutionality of the new order, the president agreed that the gazetting of the order would be delayed pending further consultations. Fayemi, however, added the governors have been consulting with speakers of state assemblies to settle amicably without any resort to courts. The Ekiti state government has filed a suit against the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, over the constitutionality of his directive issued on April 20, 2020, prescribing virtual court sittings to the head of courts at federal and state levels. In the suit filed through the Office of the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Wale Fapunda, the Ekiti state government is asking the Apex Court to issue an order striking down the directive as it relates to virtual or remote court sittings. It also wants the Supreme Court Ekiti State for being inconsistent with some sections of the 1999 Constitution. Apart from the Attorney General of the Federation, the Attorneys General of Lagos, from the legislative, executive, and judicial lawmaking, law execution, and adjudicatory rules-making powers exclusively vested in states of the Federation in respect of state courts. The President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, has officially welcomed the Chief Whip of the Senate, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, back to the Senate. Senator Kalu, who has been out of the Senate since December 2019, resumed today after he was released from a Nigeria Correctional Service Center. Meanwhile, Anti-Graft Agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commissioner, said it has refiled corruption charges against former Abia State Governor Orji Uzor Kalu. The FCC said it is waiting for the fresh charge to be assigned by the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court. The prosecuting counsel for the FCC, Rotimi Jacobs, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, disclosed this to newsmen in Abuja. Kalu had been convicted. The verdict lacked jurisdiction to preside over the case as he had been elevated to the Court of Appeal and ceased to be a judge of the Federal High Court as of when he delivered the judgment. This report says the Senate Ad hoc Committee investigating the alleged mismanagement of 40 billion naira by the Interim Management Committee of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has been granted a 4-week extension to conclude its investigation. Chairman of the panel, Senator Olubunmi Adetunbi, had raised a point of order, drawing the attention of his colleagues to the need to extend the initial 1-month period of investigation with additional weeks. Senator Adetunbi had said the COVID-19 lockdown in the country had prevented his panel to receive routine memorandum from affected stakeholders, adding that only a few of them had responded as of the submission of the written explanation on Monday, June 8. The President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, asked the panel to remain focused and avoid distractions because of the sensitive nature of the matter, which he said was generating national interest. Senator representing Borno South, Senator Ali Indume, has called for a slash of the salary of civil servants who no longer go to work due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Senator Indume made the suggestion during a media briefing in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. He stated that despite the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic, the state and the federal government are spending more to sustain personnel and non-personnel costs. Senator Ali Indume resolved that those who are not going to work now should be given palliatives and paid less. Protest has erupted in Yantumaki town, Dan Musa local government area of Katsina State. The protesters who took to the streets in the early hours of Tuesday also touched the billboard bearing the picture of President Muhammadu Buhari and the logo of the All Progressives Congress. It was gathered that residents of the town were protesting against the attacks and killings by bandits. Gunmen have in recent times attacked some communities in Batsari, LGA of the state and killed the council's APC chairman. Women have been advised to take physical defensive actions to protect themselves from being raped. Some women advocates gave the advice in an interview with our correspondent Rosemary Nwabasi on the backdrop of the frequent reports of rape across the country. One of the respondents suggested that women should learn martial arts as a way of self-defense, while the women
Please indicate rape cases actually due to the fact that the society and then safety for everyone has a portion of blame to show arts to protect themselves because the society has.
First, I'm thinking of how to monetize the whole thing since it's easier for the.
On the foreign scene now, Burundi government in all who scored 18 goals and registered 6 assists in 31 appearances for French League One club Lille last season is valued at 64 million euros. To end the news, here's a summary of the major stories.